Hey guys, I wanted to talk about some of the podcasts I listen to for fun. I end up listening to a lot. I use Bluetooth headphones, the Bose, B-O-S-E, not Bose. Lexi's very excited about this, by the way. We are driving through Arizona right now, so if this is messing with you, just listen in. I might put this on my audio only also. Figured though, while we're driving, I would give this list out as I've gotten a few requests for this, as I consider myself a bit of a podcast connoisseur. So, number one, I have my own podcast, Bono Stuff. That's not going to go on this top 10 list, 10-10. Bono Stuff, look it up on all your major podcasts, leave reviews, all that good stuff. You might be listening to it on this, so hopefully you know that one. I want to touch on Joe Rogan's podcast because it is probably one of the most popular ones in the world. He had this big deal. He went to Spotify, and I used to listen to it with certain guests, even though they were like 3 hours long, but I found a lot of entertainment in there. And again, I think he was good at exploring certain topics. So, but because of the switch to only Spotify, I don't like the app. So unless that kind of becomes resolved, I don't use Spotify Premium or whatever, so I don't know if it's better on the Premium, but I just have Overcast, which, by the way, has smart speed, and it kind of speeds up and slows down as people are speaking faster or slower. So I really like the app, and I've just been using it for a long time, so I really recommend Overcast. And let's get into the list. So Joe Rogan, I don't listen to anymore. I'm sure he's not super sad about it, but I will check it out if like clips pop up on YouTube, if he's on with like a new guest and his take on some of that stuff. Number one that I really look forward to every week is How Neil Feel. How you feel, Neil? Neil Brennan, co-writer of Chappelle Show, and Lexi's very excited, as you can see. So he just kind of goes through the week news, and they touch on some different stuff. They have listener emails. They tend to be pretty long, but I just really like his kind of sense of humor. So I get along with it, I'll say. And so How Neil Feel, number one for me. Number two, and the rest of these are not necessarily the ones I prefer or whatever in order, but I'm just going to run through them. So Maha and I are big fans of Tig Notaro. If you haven't checked out her stuff, she's very dry, but again, very kind of clever comedian. One Mississippi, great show on Amazon. So she has two podcasts, so she's numbers 2 and 3. Number 2 is Don't Ask Tig, where she goes and she has a guest on, and they go and give advice to people on, they write in their questions, and they even do some old-timey advice. So I like that concept, and again, she's just fun to listen to. And then number 3 is Tig and Cheryl. Cheryl from Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David. So she played his wife, and they go through documentaries, and they'll watch the documentary. And if you see the documentary, I kind of like that. If I watch a documentary, especially now, having less humans to interact with in person, being able to talk about shows or get a different perspective on what we just watched in the documentary. So like we watched the Tiger Woods documentary recently, and they had an episode on that, so it was fun to listen to. Sometimes when I get deep into shows like Westworld or Mr. Robot, I will end up going and finding podcasts where they kind of have these deep dives. Again, I end up listening to a lot of this as I'm rowing or as I'm jogging or as I'm walking this tired little pup. Anyway, so that's a good one. Going to number 4, Smartless, which is Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes. Those 3 guys are just fun, and what they do is they take turns and bring on another guest, a celebrity, and they'll surprise the other 2, so it's not as like prepared, I think, as some of the other shows. So it makes it a fun conversation. They take turns kind of poking fun at each other. Some of these that are, I guess, pretty popular, they end up having a little more commercials, but because of that, again, in my smart speed, I end up kind of knowing when to skip through the commercials. So Smartless, fun. Along those lines, Conan Needs a Friend. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. Same kind of concept, except it's just Conan and his assistant, and they have a guest on, and then same almost kind of concept. Bob Saget's here for you, So those are all kind of in that same vein, having a guest, having a lot of commercials. So you end up skipping through. WTF with Mark Maron, another comedian that, again, I really enjoy. And whatchamacallit, he's been doing it for a long time now. He's probably one of the first ones to have a podcast like that. So, again, just, you know when to kind of skip through as you learn some of these. So, moving on. You Made It Weird, Pete Holmes. I've been listening to his a little bit less, but I like his comedy. He had a kid, I think, and so he's changed up a little bit of the format, but you can always go back and listen to some of the older episodes, but he still does those one-on-one interviews that are pretty fun. He had a really good one with Penn Jillette that I liked, and Penn Jillette's an atheist, and Pete's always exploring his spirituality, which is a fun kind of concept for me to listen in on. So if you like that kind of thing and just general life comedy, he's pretty good for that. And, I skipped this one, but we'll throw it in here. I Don't Know About That with Jim Jeffries, which kind of inspired Bono's stuff, because it's talking about concepts that Jim, to see how much he knows. A recent episode I listened to was about anatomy, so they had an anatomy expert on, and he kind of tries to see how much he knows, and then he gets educated on some of the basics of that. So it's a fun one. It's a fun format. Jim Jeffries. And the last one we'll talk about is the Sarah Silverman podcast, tongue twister. So Sarah Silverman, again, if you like her style, her comedy, she's kind of fun to listen to. I'll throw in one more just because, Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. So he's, I didn't put him on here originally as I was creating this little list, as he's not a stand-up comic necessarily. And they tend to cover some serious topics, but they always have a good time, and it's a really good one to listen to. So Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. So if you guys have some podcasts you recommend, again, I have a whole bunch of other ones, but I was trying to make this on the relatively short side. I'll try to have maybe the screenshot thingy here and links down below. Can't promise anything, but we're driving. See a little bit of the country there, and I hope you guys enjoy your day. If you enjoy any of these, if again you have other recommendations, please let me know. I'd love to hear them. I'm always down to check out some episodes of new podcasts. I think there's 800,000 active podcasts or something like that, or registered podcasts on Apple Podcasts or something like that. So there's a lot to sort through, and again, I just kept it to like kind of the comedy and more lighthearted stuff for this list, but I have tons of physical therapy and self-help and all that stuff. Tim Ferriss podcast I'll throw in there, is a super popular one that, again, I kind of choose and pick which ones I listen to. I used to be really into that stuff. So if you have some free time, if you're doing dishes, I just make it part of my kind of routine, and I'm trying to always, maybe too much, listen in and learn stuff. So let me know what you think. Get 1% better, hopefully, and we'll talk to you next time.